Hello, Mount Rudmore here, and I am back with another BB24 stream. And you know, it's Monday in the Big Brother house, which means they had the veto meeting today, as they always do on Monday. And I'm here to talk about what went down. I have I have my milk with me. Milk is always my late night stream drink. So it's certainly been an interesting day. And also, of course, Sunday night we had the episode. I do have a few thoughts about the episode itself. This was actually a pretty entertaining one. It had some good stuff. Um, so yeah, I'm just gonna get right to it with first bit of information I wrote down. Um, Now, as we all know, at this point, Turner and Jasmine hate each other. I mean, these are festy besties that are no longer besties. I mean, they were never like super close. Hello, good morning, Scarlet Rain 88. But like they openly despise each other. Like the concept of the festy bestie twist, like it stems from, you go to a festival, you have someone there to watch your back. If Turner and Jasmine went to a festival together in real life and they got along the same way they do in the house, they would each be paying people off to kidnap the other one. That is how poorly they get along at this point. And Turner says that he would love to take Jasmine out. And I don't care who takes Jasmine out, just someone do it. Not right now. There is still a bigger fish to fry in Smellvis. But Jasmine can be the first juror. I don't mind. I saw someone today, and I retweeted this because I thought it was brilliant. It would be great to let Jasmine be the first juror because then she would have to take care of herself in the jury house. She'd be alone. I mean, she'd probably try to get the camera people to do stuff for her, but you know, I don't think they would. But yeah, Turner says he would love to take Jasmine out. He thinks that America would love it unless they love Jasmine. And Brittany decided to get a little mean, a little out of character for her, but I welcomed it immensely. She said, and I quote, "If they do, that's some pretty great editing." Actually, I don't know if that's an exact quote, but that's basically what she said. She can't imagine America likes Jasmine, and we don't. Nobody likes Jasmine. She appeals to nobody. Like, I watch the feeds and know what a horrendous person Jasmine is. My dad is a complete casual, so he just goes off the episodes, and she's in the diary room being a total clown, just speaking country bumpkinese, basically. And it's like the only people I have seen that are fans of Jasmine are insane stan accounts on Twitter that took one look at her and were just rabidly against every other woman in the house. And it's like, you know, Jasmine had an energy before the show started that drew the crazies to her. I mean, like I've seen three basically, and I've blocked them all on site. But yeah, that's like it's amazing that she drew this level of insanity just on site. If there is anyone out there who likes Jasmine, I'll be very surprised. I don't think there is. Okay, there are a lot of different facets of the Big Brother fandom. Like, I prefer Big Brother Twitter because it's like, it feels the most real. You got like people from all walks of life watching the show, analyzing it, discussing it. You know, like I've learned stuff from BB Twitter. I've looked at things in the world in a different way because of BB Twitter. BB Facebook, on the other hand, which is all boomers and grandmas. Well, most grandmas are boomers, I guess. And we got a couple Gen X grandmas by now. But anyway, like people on BB Facebook generally feel the polar opposite of BB Twitter. And Jasmine has them united in hating her. Just how just how ridiculous she is. I saw one person who said, I am a southerner and Jasmine sounds like a northerner making fun of us. Yeah, I imagine that's pretty toxic. Yeah, it's why I barely use Facebook anymore, to be honest, but that's another thing entirely. Um, oh, this was another good thing. Going back to the Turner Brittany conversation about Jasmine, Michael points out that her voice is different when she knows that something is on camera. Because it's true. Like, watch her diary room. She's just making herself sound like freaking Cletus from The Simpsons, or at least just that level of hickness. And it's like they see through it. They completely see through it. And Taylor joins into this conversation, and she says that Terrence said that Smellvis would go after Turner. Like Terrence said that to her, and to that Taylor said that she won't let him. And a lot of people, um, are like they're pitching potential final twos. I'm seeing a Taylor Turner final two thrown around a lot as something people would like to see. And honestly, I wouldn't hate it. You know, part of me thinks Turner might become too much of a threat that it might be better to get him out a little before then, like maybe fourth or fifth. But those two sit in the end. I would not be against it. And it's good to know that Taylor has his back. And I mean, with the way Turner had her back in his speech when he put Amira and Terrence on the block, like it makes sense that she'd be wanting to return the favor. I would, but that would mean I'd have to listen to her. Oh, to Jasmine, yeah. If you have not heard Jasmine's voice yet, do not seek out any video footage. And I wouldn't be mad if Turner was in the final two. Yeah, me neither. Everyone's really come around to the idea, which is a polar opposite from where he started, when everyone thought he was just going to be horrendous, including me. Um, Michael tells Kyle that Jasmine said she'd leave noms the same if she won veto. She's giving this information up freely. And Kyle's like, she can't be that bad at BB. And of course, he's saying this to deflect from the fact that he also would have left noms the same and basically planted the seed. Like, Kyle's not like fully with the other side of the house, but he's been maneuvering with them. And he just deflects his own part in that and says, it's fine for Daniel to be the move. I mean, he definitely said that pretty begrudgingly. He does not want to go on the block. That's why he has been like tanking his game so hard, trying not to go on the block. And it's like, dude, you would be in a better position if you just let it happen. You know? He's in a really good position. He's just too stubborn to see it. Uh, Joseph says that he's glad that his trio, him, Monty, Terrence, didn't win veto because um, this just showed everybody's cards. It's like they're all uh, they're all just going everywhere. I talked about this on my last stream. Just Michael was putting everything together, how everything on the other side of the house is just starting to fall apart because Michael was putting it all together. And Joseph is someone else who's very good at putting the pieces together. So yeah, Michael is just glad that he got the information he needed. And it's like it's pretty sweet that it went down this way because it was looking like we don't know how far Kyle's gonna get with his little scheme to turn Michael against the people of color in the house. I mean, Michael's gonna have to be on board with taking some of these people out eventually anyway, but I truly believe Michael when he says that his final three is him, Brittany, and Taylor, which is a final three that I also would not mind. And to be honest, that's my dream final three. Just because, like, the three of them have been the most consistently good people in the house. Joseph, Turner, and Monty, they have caught up a lot, but, the first 2 weeks, I was just sort of, I don't know. I will say, Joseph is very nearly in my top three at this point. Because he was just, I mean, he's a mastermind, and I love it. I wouldn't hate a Taylor Michael Brittany final three. I'm glad you're so agreeable tonight, Scarlett. It makes this so much easier. I don't have to argue with my comment section. I mean, I never have really, mostly because I hardly ever have a comment section. But Scarlett, you make it so fun. You're such a yes woman, and I appreciate it. So we have an update on the Alyssa Kyle showmance. And it seems as though Alyssa is losing a bit of interest in him. And yeah, it's probably because you two have nothing in common and you're both incredibly immature. And, like, even if you do try something outside of this house, I don't see you guys going on more than a couple dates before being like, nah. Like, this showmance is so doomed. Like, Christian and Alyssa last year? Yeah. Scarlett, last year also had an Alyssa that was in a showmance. But, last year's Alyssa and Christian, I was like, these two, possibly, they might have a shot. But then, like, they got separated because Christian went pre-jury and Alyssa made it to jury, so they weren't reunited until the season ended. But I was like, I think these two might have a shot. But just a couple days after the season ended, they were both just like, nah, we're just gonna be friends. So yeah, but if they couldn't make it, then this year's Alyssa isn't. Alyssa last year was not like my favorite person in the cast, but she, I definitely, I had very low expectations for her going in, but she definitely surpassed them. She, I'll give her this much. She won two vetoes at times she really desperately needed to win them. But both times she won the veto, it was on a week that she was the target. She was the one that was going to leave. And then she ended up being the last person to leave that was not in the cookout. So, you gotta respect that. Anyway, back to this season's Alyssa. Uh, are there any show answers from the show that have actually lasted outside the house? Oh yeah, plenty. There were two from BB19 that I don't like to talk about because everyone hates that season, but for some reason they like those two, even though they were disgustingly toxic. Cody and Jessica. Hated them. Hated them both, and yet somehow Cody, the miserable transphobe, became America's favorite player. But I'm not still mad. I'm totally not mad about that. Does it sound like I'm mad? I don't know why, because I'm not. Anyway, there was also Tyler and Angela from BB20, Bailey and Swaggy C from BB20, uh, Jeff and Jordan from before I started watching, Rachel and Brendan from before I started watching. That's all I can really think of. But yes, there have been successful showmances. Like some of these people have kids now. In fact, Cody and Jessica have like 56 kids by now. There are no smiles in that house. Anyway, this season's Alyssa. She's saying she's not sure if she's super interested in Kyle anymore because he's almost 30. He lives with his mom. He does TikTok dances. I read about this and I'm just like, is this going to make Kyle spiral when he's on the block, assuming Michael does go through with the plan to to backdoor Smellvis, which would in turn put Kyle on the block as their festy besties? And just with the way Kyle has shot himself in the foot, like a lot of people have really been like, if Kyle goes, I won't be too mad. And I mean, he is definitely becoming a bit of a problem. In fact, he's becoming a lot of a problem. But like, we Smellvis is just too insane. He's a mess, and he's got to go. If a set of circumstances arises where Kyle's the first juror, so be it. Now this was an interesting development. Uh, Terrence talks to Joseph about targeting Monty when Joseph is clearly Monty's closest ally. Now we knew Terrence was starting to turn on Monty a little bit, but it's really amazing how stupid he is about it. I I cannot figure out Terrence's game, mostly because I don't think there's anything to figure out. He just sort of he just kind of rolls the dice, and you know, it's like whatever he decides to do. Is he going to be helpful? Is he going to screw with people? Is he going to tank his own game? Like they're all viable options for him apparently. And like it's no secret that Monty and Joseph are close allies. Everyone talks about it. They're like Monty and Joseph need to be broken up. People inside and outside the leftovers are saying this. But I don't know what Terrence is doing. Like I always like to root for the oldest contestants. I really do. And last year the oldest contestant was Tiffany, and she was one of the strongest players of the season. Like she was so strong that they took her out for being too big of a threat. And she was the oldest person in the house. She was 40, turned 41 while she was in there. But I mean, like, Terrence is on the level of, like, uh, Steve from BB20. He was the oldest, and all he did was sit around and smoke cigarettes. He didn't talk game with anybody other than Scotty, I guess. But it's like, I don't know what Terrence's plan is for his long term game. But, like, he he's going to get himself targeted sooner than would probably be wise to target him just because he's so dumb. He's talking to Monty's closest ally about turning on him. He's not exactly being subtle here. No, he's not. Terrence is just making it up as he goes along. Like I feel like Terrence watched one episode of Big Brother last year and was like, "Hey, this could be fun." You know what? I'm just as a joke. I'm just gonna see what happens. I'm gonna apply. Why not? What's the worst that can happen? They say no? Whatever. I feel like Terrence auditioned for this show on a lark. So, anyway, we now get to Sunday's episode, and we get to see some stuff that we didn't see on feeds. Of course, the HOH. We know what happens, but we didn't get to see it all play out. We just found out who won, and we found out that and we found out one of the other scores. But that wasn't all we missed out on, because feeds were down in between the end of the episode when Smellvis was walking around sulking like, "Oh, pack my bags, buy my ticket, just end the season." Like, that was where the episode ended, and feeds didn't come back on until after the HOH comp. So what we missed in between was Smellvis spiraling to first Alyssa. It was just like, "I took you off the block, and you couldn't vote to save her?" Because like it was 9-1. He knows he was the only one. So he knows everybody's against him at this point. Alyssa tries to say sorry, but he's like, "You're not sorry. You're not." I'm like, dude, you are such a child. You are 35 years old. Like, I'm 31, and I'm well aware that I I barely ever adult. Okay? I hardly do any adulting at this point in my life. I need to do more adulting. I'm aware of that. But at least I'm not a petty, whiny, emo kid anymore. Nobody should be sorry for voting out Nicole. Yeah, exactly. So that happens first. Just him and Alyssa, one on one. Like she kind of goes into the bedroom where he was just kind of walking in circles, ranting at himself. But then he goes into the kitchen and he just starts calling out Monty in front of everybody. Like I said that I was talking to my dad as we were watching the episode. We were talking about the fight, and my dad was like, "Wasn't even really a fight," and it really wasn't because, like, I mean, Smellvis was mad at him. He was mad at Monty. He was calling him out in front of everybody, but he was doing it in like a very calm, defeated voice. And Monty was just sort of brushing him off the whole time. He's like barely engaging for a long time. And even then, like when he does finally engage with him a little bit, he doesn't give him much of a response. And yeah, this was just a sad, desperate man. I shared this GIF earlier, the Dumb and Dumber GIF, Jim Carrey. Man, you are one pathetic loser. And that GIF, Smellvis is going to be seeing that GIF a lot if he does decide to return to social media. I mean, he won't see it from me because I blocked him, and I have no intentions of unblocking him to harass him because that's not my thing. But I'm also not going to stop anyone from harassing him because, like, first of all, what could I even do to stop it? Even if I did want to stop it, I can't do anything. And also, I don't really want to stop it. I don't want to participate, but I don't want to stop it. So yes, this whole breakdown was just really sad, and like everyone's just looking at him funny, and you know he doesn't win anybody over. Taylor's just sitting there on the stairs eating her lays, and I'm like, girl, you have a sponsorship coming after this show ends. So then we get to the HOH comp. Now, as it had been indicated, it was the same competition, the same HOH competition that Sarah Beth won last year at top 10 and took out Derek X. So, seeing this competition again, it was hard not to have some war flashbacks to that nightmare of a week. Like I say Sarah Beth did it, but it was Kyland. Kyland commandeered her brain and hijacked her HOH, just brainwashed her into doing his bidding. He was your favorite from last year, wasn't he? Derek X? Yeah, he was. And I liked Sarah Beth too, but like she just like it wasn't even a good move for her. it torched her game. She was gone the next week. But anyway, I'm not here to relive that mess. Um, so we see the HOH competition. Uh, they're chosen by random draw, and wouldn't you know it, Smellvis gets to go first. And I mean, the challenge is you have to walk across a balance beam. There's multiple routes, but some of the shorter routes are skinnier and harder to walk on. So you have to decide what is the best route to get you there that you won't fall. The skinny route is like a high risk, high reward thing. Smellvis goes first. He gets across it without falling. Takes him 16 seconds and change. And second one to go was Michael. And he gets, I believe it was 11.79 seconds. I remember that because that score was up there for a long time. In fact, it was up there for the entire competition because Michael won the HOH, and the one person who couldn't win, like, I mean, the fact that these two went first, like, even without knowing who won, I admit it does kind of take some of the suspense out of it. You sometimes trip over your own feet on flat ground. Well, at least the floor was padded if they did fall, and a couple people did. Um, Jasmine takes her turn, and of course, like I wasn't sure she'd even like when I heard what the competition was. I'm like, did Jasmine even try at all? Like, was she allowed to? What would be the point? She's in a boot because she sprained her ankle, and she's got to go across a balance beam. And it was the saddest thing I've ever seen. She steps on, and she's like, okay, this is her. This is the boot foot, and she's like, that's what it was like. It was so sad. Like Michael went before her. She had 11 seconds to get across it. It took her 11 seconds to reach, like, to, it took her 11 seconds to span the, the few feet it was to the first path on the beam. That's how sad it was. Like, Scarlett, if you can find footage of that sad thing and watch it on mute, by all means do, because it's just, like, it is a cheap laugh. Ha ha ha! I would feel sorry for her, but it's Jasmine, so I can't bring myself to. Exactly. I gotta tell you, if I was in that situation, like if I had rolled my ankle and I was in a boot and this was my competition, I don't care. I'm going for it. I'll roll it again. I don't care. $750,000. I can pay for surgery to get it fixed if I screw it up too bad. But I mean, I would have gone for it. I might have fallen off, but I would have tried. You know. Um, Terrence, when he's about to take his turn, he says that, like, of course, this is a little bit in the past now, so he gets a diary room where he says that he wants to protect Monty and Joseph. Specifically Monty, because, Monty can't win HOH. He's vulnerable now, so, like, when this diary room was filmed, Terrence was still on Monty's side, like, you know, I'm gonna protect him if I get HOH. And I mean, of course, he protects him automatically because if Terrence or Joseph won HOH, Monty would be safe automatically. But of course, Terrence does not make it. I I don't think he fell. I don't think. I think he just ran out of time. Like he just couldn't make it fast enough. But if I'm remembering correctly, he didn't fall. I could be wrong about that though. Either way, he doesn't win. Kyle. Kyle came very close, and he took a very high risk route, like a very narrow, probably an inch wide route. And he made it across that beam, but he missed Michael's time by milliseconds. Like Kyle lost by by probably the same margin that Derek X lost to Sarah Beth. Because it wasn't just that Sarah Beth won HOH and took out Derek X. It was that Derek X lost that comp by a tenth of a second, if that. So that's what made it hurt even more. But of course, the situation is a little different because, you know, Kyle isn't really too much at risk from Michael. But, Kyle did want the HOH for himself, which he probably shouldn't have because he knows that Smellvis is public enemy number one in the house. And if he went for the competition to keep him safe, like went for HOH, then that'd make Kyle public enemy number two. And the last part of this HOH comp I want to talk about is the very last one to go, Turner. He his time was winding down. His only option was to go the narrow route that Kyle did successfully get across, but didn't do it in time. So Turner goes for it, and he has the best wipeout I have ever seen in my life. I mean, like, he went for it. You cannot deny the man went for it, but he face planted so bad. And like everyone was worried about him. But like I said, it was padded. He was fine. But like, he very easily could have like banged his knee slipping on the beam. Because like they showed it in slow motion a few times. Like he tried to run and like his foot missed the beam completely, and then that was it for him. My favorite angle I saw was one that just kind of zoomed in on Taylor and Brittany, who were like sitting at the end. Like it was just zoomed in on them, and you just see Turner like like I mean this was just there was a wide shot of Turner starting to fall and then hitting the ground at the end. So like he comes in from the left, Taylor and Brittany are way on the right, so it's just zoomed in on them on the right, and Turner is just flying through the air, and it's a really funny angle. Now that footage I need to try and find. Oh yeah, it's so great. But yes, that is the HOH competition. Michael wins, fourth competition win in in 5 weeks. Fourth competition win pre-jury, and then of course, he won the veto, so that's 5 wins pre-jury. I know people have won more than 5 comps in the entire season, but I'm not sure if anyone's ever won 5 comps before jury. Like HOHs and vetoes, like main competitions. But yeah, those are all my thoughts on the HOH competition. Back to feed talk. Um, Brittany and Michael are talking, and I always like when these two talk because like if ever there's some talk going around and you're just like, I'm not sure I like where this is going. Brittany and Michael talk, possibly with Taylor there as well. Like really any two of them, Brittany, Michael, and Taylor, you hear them talk to each other, and it's very grounding because these three have been totally open and honest with each other. I trust what they say to each other. So, like, it's always nice to see them talk to each other or any combination. This time it's Brittany and Michael, and Brittany says that Jasmine said to her, um, when the house wants something, it's not the HOH's HOH. Like a threat. Interesting move, Jasmine. You're threatening the person who is really close with the HOH and is obviously going to report this back to him. And of course, Michael says to this, if you want to go up, because she would go over Turner, she's like, if you want to go up, then you can spend your birthday with your husband. Because apparently Jasmine's birthday is in a few weeks. And, you know, if she goes home before jury, she can spend it with her husband. And I'm just like, thank you, Michael, for acknowledging that Jasmine doesn't have a leg to stand on, especially since she's already down one leg. That calls for a sassy sip. So, and this is still Sunday. Kyle and Alyssa just really weren't talking much at all day. Like I didn't see too many updates about them interacting with each other. But finally, that night they do start to interact again. And Kyle says that Alyssa has a tendency to make jabs that bring his ego down. How many times do I have to say it? These two are doomed. They're not right for each other. Maybe, Kyle, when early on you didn't want to succumb to all of her obvious red flags, maybe you should have stuck with that. It would have been better for you in so many ways. So, yeah, it's like Kyle's showmance isn't working. He's possibly gonna hurt his chances with his alliance. This just, it's not going well for him anymore. He was so well positioned. He just, it's amazing to watch him throw it away like this. Michael, he says that he wants to tell the others that he's not going for Monty to see if they get desperate and just, kind of see what they say about it. See what they try to pitch to him. Because, he already caught him once when Jasmine and Terrence basically made the same pitch. And Michael was like, oh, so you two are working together. I see how it is. And then Michael goes and talks to Monty, and he says, there is a campaign to target you going on the other side of the house. And, like, this is just further proof that what Kyle was saying was completely wrong because Kyle thought that everyone was trying to get in with Monty. Well, by everyone, I mean the people of color in the house. And yet, Jasmine wants Monty out. Terrence wants Monty out. Terrence of all people, I don't know why. Like he is the most disloyal player ever. Like this that's what's gonna take him out. No one's gonna be able to trust him in 2 weeks' time. Like he's not a threat because he's such an idiot. But it's because he's such an idiot that he might get targeted. Because everyone's like, I we can't deal with this guy. But yeah, that was Michael letting Monty in on this campaign on the other side of the house that they tried to pitch to Michael, and Jasmine was so proud of herself because Michael just kind of nodded along and said "mm-hmm" a lot, and Jasmine's got it in her own mind that like he's going to do it, and she just completely changed his mind. He should want to keep Monty in for his own game. Terrence, yeah, and Michael for that matter, because like clearly Monty is a threat ahead of him. So yeah, why would Michael want to do that? And he also mentions Jasmine's threat to Brittany about how the house wants something. It's not the HOH's HOH. And Smellvis goes up to Michael and Brittany and says, there is support to take the shot at Monty. Like, I've been talking to people. Like, you keep me off the block. like we can have minimum 4 votes, and with the three of them on the block, there'd be 8 votes, and 4 votes. If it's a tie, Michael would break the tie, and he could send Monty home. And yeah, Smellvis would say that because he's just going to try to say anything to save himself. And he also says that you spare me. I swear I'm not coming for either of you. And again, it's like, yeah, you would say that. You got to do better than that. All right, so it's officially Monday now. We uh, we have some stuff before the veto meeting. Smellvis makes his final pitch to Michael, and it's just more of the same. I will not come for you. I will. I'll take the shots you're afraid to take. And Michael talks to Kyle, and he's just assuring Kyle like you're good. You got nothing to worry about. And he doesn't, but he's gonna worry anyway. And Michael's like, a lot of people are like about a showmance, but he's like, you and Alyssa, go for it. And of course and he even says like, I'm not even against working with you guys. And it's pretty obvious to me Michael's saying this because a showmance will be targeted before he is. So between the showmance and Monty, Michael has a couple shields, and yeah, it'd be foolish to to throw the opportunity away. But Kyle does say to this, I will send Alyssa home if necessary. Not sure I believe him because he hasn't been worth listening to the last few days. Monty tells Michael about how Jasmine was saying stuff like, like she's on board, like the target is the target. And Michael's like, she's trying to cover so badly. Yeah, I'd take advantage of a couple of shields like that as well if I was in Michael's position. Exactly. Like there was a lot of talk on last night's episode between him and Brittany, and you know Brittany had a diary room. This is probably the last thing about the the Sunday episode I'm gonna mention, but Brittany said we have to decide like, is this the right time to take a big shot? And I thought about that, and I'm like, no, it's not. Not pre-jury. Get this alliance to jury, and from there, do what you got to do. So we get to the veto meeting. The feeds go down. Veto meeting happens. Michael and Brittany use the veto. Kyle and Smellvis go on the block. A lot of people were scared this week. A lot of people thought Michael was going to fumble the ball, but he did it. Kyle and Smellvis are on the block, and if Kyle goes home, then he has no one to blame but himself. He just has to rein in his paranoia, and he can just relax. Granted, granted, this is not the season where you should relax when you're nominated, as Pooch, Amira, and Nicole can all attest to. But Kyle is actually in the alliance that has all the power, and he's only on the block because of this twist. So I think he should feel reasonably comfortable. He just needs to not freak out. Now, This was exciting. This was something Michael talked about doing. Um, week one, after um, Michael was nominated and won the veto then and pulled himself off, Smellvis was the HOH and Taylor was the replacement nominee. And he's like, I think you should use this opportunity to apologize to people in this house when she hadn't done anything. Michael threw those words right back in Smellvis' face today. And I'm just like, thank you. And there was talk about him doing it before, and he followed through. He's like, now you have the opportunity to apologize to the people you've rubbed the wrong way in this house. Beautiful. Oh, that must have been glorious. Well, I haven't seen it yet. Won't get to until Wednesday. Uh, Kyle's talking to, I believe he was talking to Turner. He's not thrilled about being on the block, but he feels as good as he can feel. And again, in a season full of blindsides, don't feel too comfortable. But Kyle, just trust that your alliance has your back. Because, like, there's 9 people voting, 5 of them are the leftovers. So that's the majority right there. And he's also probably going to have Alyssa. Indy doesn't really like Smellvis too much at this point, so I think Indy would probably also vote for Kyle to stay. Plus, she's close with Alyssa, and she might not want to, you know, hurt her friend in any way. Terrence, I don't know. Jasmine, I don't know. um, this was uh, this was an interesting one. Um, Alyssa tells Kyle that, according to Jasmine, Taylor slipped and said she's working with Monty. Now, saying this to anybody else, it'd be nothing. But Kyle is already worried about Cookout 2.0. And I'm worried this could feed that paranoia, that really problematic paranoia that he has. So I don't know. I don't trust Kyle. I think a Kyle HOH is going to be a rather concerning sight until we find out what exactly is going on. Like, we just got to hope that he uh, he stays true to his alliance. You agree with me? Yeah. Thank you. So we got Terrence venting to Smellvis, and Terrence is just saying a whole lot of stupid stuff at this point, as is Smellvis, but, I've come to expect it from him. Who am I kidding? I've come to expect it from Terrence as well. So Terrence is venting to Daniel, Smellvis, whatever. Sorry, I write Dan in my phone because I shorten everybody's names. So it's just, he's Dan in my phone. But, he's venting about Michael using the veto. Terrence wanted to stay on the block with everything that has just happened. Like, with Nicole, how confident she was, how eagerly she went on the block. Now Terrence is that eager as well. And he's upset that he's not nominated. I'm like, dude, why are you like this? And this was a very confusing metaphor he used. He said, it took the gas out of my sails. You mean took the wind out of your sails? Like, I If this isn't proof that Terrence is too dumb for this game, I don't know what is. He's upset he's not up for elimination. Does he even know how to play this game? No, he doesn't. I really don't think he does. And he's just ranting about it. And he's like, "Who even wants to play now?" It's like everyone's playing around you. Like, who wants to play this now? Just cut the check. He's using one of Smellvis's isms. It's like just write him the check right now. I just don't understand. I said this earlier. Like, well, Scarlett, you probably won't get this. This is more of an American thing, but but this is for any American viewers. Um, Terrence defecting from Monty and joining Smellvis is like defecting from the Harlem Globetrotters to the Washington Generals. Now, Scarlett, for you, the Harlem Globetrotters are like a comedy basketball team here in America. And they always play the Washington Generals, and the Globetrotters always just beat them. They always beat the Washington Generals with their tricks and their screwing around. Yeah, that's what it's like. Terrence had a good thing going with Monty, and now he's against him. And like, this is an interesting choice. But yeah, Terrence is like, no one's going to be competitive now. Smellvis says that he doesn't want to cause drama. Yeah, good luck with that. And he points out that Taylor and Turner were trying not to laugh. I'm guessing they really enjoyed Michael throwing Smallvis's words right back at him. I mean, Taylor, of course, you know, she would laugh at it, and Turner's just up for a mess. Turner is the good kind of messy player. Messy is good. Sloppy is bad. Terrence is sloppy. Turner is messy. And that is why we like Turner and not Terrence. I know who the Globetrotters are, but didn't know who the Generals were, so thank you for that. Oh, okay. Gotcha. But Terrence says nothing adds up, and I'm like, dude, for things to add up, you need to have graduated second grade because that's where they teach you how to add stuff. That was mean. I apologize. But yeah, Terrence says nothing adds up. Smella says that Turner putting up Amira and Terrence for no reason was where everything went wrong. For you. That's where everything started going right for us, the viewers, the poor, miserable viewers who spent the first 2 weeks of this season in absolute agony. And Terrence says that Smellvis has his vote no matter what. And, you know, Terrence, like I said, he's disloyal. He's not loyal to anybody. He will go against whoever for whatever reason. So, you know, I would not be surprised if Terrence does end up changing his mind and votes Smellvis out on Thursday. Taylor and Brittany are talking, and both of them agree that they would target Terrence next if either of them are the next HOH. Struggling to decide who I want as first juror: Jasmine, Kyle, or Terrence. Uh well, I'm saying Jasmine just because I want her to be in the jury house alone and have to take care of herself. That's just funny to me. But then Terrence can go. And to be honest, I think maybe Indy should be after. And to be honest, I don't really care if Kyle or Alyssa go first before each other. You know, it'd probably be Alyssa first, but I don't care. One way or the other, I don't care. But yes, Taylor and Brittany, they would target Terrence next if one of them is HOH. And do I think this is the best move for them to make? No, probably not. But I mean, it is kind of a safe move. It's not really stepping on any toes, and he's just so sloppy. So it's like, do what you got to do. Personally, I think I want Turner to win the next HOH. I'm sorry. I want Turner to win because he is going to go for Jasmine. He's going to go for Jasmine and he's going to get her out. And just to make sure that he gets Kyle on board, I think he might do Alyssa as the other one, like as the other nominee to just ensure. That's what I want. Like ordinarily, I'm not generally on board with back to back HOH. Well, not back to back, but someone winning their second HOH this early in the season. But just the comedian in me wants Turner to win HOH and go for Jasmine just for full comedic effect. I mean, she knows that he was the Muffin Man, so you know she's never going to vote for him in jury anyway. So he might as well just target her. So yeah, that's that's what I want. But you know, I'm still on team leftovers. The the people outside the leftovers are just insanely bad at this game, and they're not worth rooting for. They're not even likable to root for. Like we always pick on Faute for being a terrible alliance, but like for the most part, they were pretty likable. I mean, everybody loved Haley, uh, but that alliance was just so bad. But like you were still kind of rooting for them in some sad, pathetic way. Well, I was rooting for Haley by the end of it, just because Fessy was too stupid. So we get a Cam talk from Kyle, and I'm like, please, not another one. Every time you do these, they make me sad. And he says that he wanted to get Michael, Brittany, and Turner to flip to join him and Alyssa. Like, this is the alliance he wanted, this very Caucasian alliance. Yeah, interesting. Like, look, dude, we saw your Instagram picture of you holding a gun, and you're from Utah. We know where you stand politically. You're not fooling anybody. Just, we tried kicking it down the field as best we could, but, it's really starting to pile up now. But yes, he said that's what he wanted to get Michael, Brittany, and Turner on board to joining him and Alyssa. But Alyssa's side, when they were trying to go for Monty, they just did it so poorly. I just realized I haven't had my laptop plugged in this whole time. But I mean, I got 29% remaining, so I should be okay to get to the end of this. I'm almost at the end of my notes. Um, this was an interesting one right here. Joe says that he is doing a faux-mance with Taylor, as opposed to a showmance, a faux showmance. So that is interesting. And I'm like, I'm not against that, and I'm also not against the showmance. I am not against a good showmance. The problem is it has to be good. Joseph and Taylor would be a good showmance. Kyle and Alyssa is not at all. But Joseph and Taylor, they're actually two intelligent people, and they're good foils to each other. So anyway, Joseph says he's doing a fomance with Taylor, and he encourages Kyle to have a showmance with Alyssa. And I think Joseph is also in the same train of thought as Michael. Like, let them be a showmance and make them a bigger target before me. But Kyle, he acknowledges that Alyssa is probably going in the next 2 weeks. And honestly, I'm not really sure what order I want the non leftovers to go in. Like, I see pros and cons to getting any of them out next. Like, I feel like to maybe build some goodwill with Kyle, you could be like, you know, well, like the leftovers, we want us to be the final seven, but we can let Alyssa be number eight. Like, I wouldn't be against that. And the last thing I have written down, Terrence says that there has to be a big alliance. He tells this to Smellvis, and these are the names he throws out as to who he thinks are in this big alliance: Michael, Monty, Taylor, Brittany, Joseph, Turner. And he thinks about it and he's like, probably Kyle. Credit where it's due, Daniel. You found him. You sniffed him out. That is the alliance. But it's too late for you to do anything. He could out them. He could just say these are the people who are working together. But that'll basically be like he's on his way out the door now. Is anyone really going to believe him? And they might, but you know, the one thing the leftovers have done wrong is spend too much time together. Like they're all consistently hanging out with each other. That was part of why the cookout works. They didn't all hang out in the same place at the same time very often. All right, it's time to check Twitter, see what's gone down, check for any updates. All right, not really seeing anything yet. Working on it. Or just I was seeing some other non Big Brother updates that I was just sort of like I should probably be reading this. Anyway, let's check BB updates. Big Brother Daily. That's my go-to, my most reliable source, most reliable, unbiased source. All right, Smellvis is talking to Jasmine, who, by the way, he said earlier that Jasmine's one of the only people he wants to see win the money. And I'm like, dude, you are the only person in America. Anyway, he's talking to Jasmine, says, I don't have Taylor, I don't have Monty, I don't have Alyssa, I don't have Brittany, and I don't have Turner. That's all they need. Yep. Jasmine says Turner is best friends with Kyle. Smellvis points out Turner was laughing when I got put up. Of course, Smellvis is like, I've never done anything. Yeah, you have. Jasmine somehow wins the money. I'm not coming back for BB25. Haha. Oh, neither am I. That will stain the brand. He's talking to Jasmine and now Joseph about the final five are going to be. So I was saying he made the worst move of the season, taking you guys down. I am alone. I am not a threat. And Joseph's like, I'm not stupid. I thought that. And Jasmine says, unless he has an alliance. That's the only thing that makes sense. Of course. Terrence says Monty is aligned with Michael and Brittany and Taylor. Jasmine's like, wow. She just told me because she still think we cool. After Daniel leaves, they want Kyle out. They never touching Monty. I have to say it. I never thought I'd be following an American reality show, but you've made it interesting. Happy to help. Jasmine says, obviously Joseph not in on this group. Terrence says, he's never been in it, me or him. I have always had him, he has always had me. Yet again, more bad reads from the underdogs. But like usually you're rooting for the underdogs. Not now. The underdogs are idiots. You know, Terrence is pointing out how Alyssa and Kyle were in his room. I open the door and close it fast. And Terrence said, it looked like they were kissing. Smella says that she's going to be wild and she's going to break his heart, Kyle's heart. I see. Oh my god. Smella is saying, I wish I was evicted tonight. I'm going to go drink with Nicole hard. Oh, once you get back on Twitter, you are going to drink yourself to death. You're going to drink yourself to death on the toilet, kind of like Elvis did. The real Elvis. Jasmine says she wants to be the last girl standing, even if she doesn't win. That's not happening. And no one wants it to happen. And Smellvis is like, you have got to win. No! Shut up! She doesn't got to. Jasmine says she's been picking up on how much they hang out with each other. Taylor, Monty, Michael, and Brittany. Uh-huh. Well, what are you going to do about it? Oh, Jasmine is saying this to Joseph. I mean, hopefully you are not in it, because we are talking about it. Joseph's like, no. Every time we were all chilling, it's a bunch of clowning. Jasmine's like, you better not be lying to me. Joseph's like, no, I'm not. Like, come on. What are you going to do, Jasmine? All these people are playing you, and you're going to figure it out soon enough. So, you can't be bitter at everybody. You still got to vote for somebody to win. Oh, I'm checking the comments now. People are People are saying that Joseph is about to run this back to the others. Terrence is saying to Jasmine and Joseph, I wanted that shot taken, like referring to Monty. I gave Michael that shot. When it was me and him at the top of Otev, I told him to win it. I threw it to him, and he still didn't take the shot. And Joseph just says, That's wild, then. Terrence, why are you admitting this? Why are you admitting this? Oh, God. Why is he telling this to Joseph? Joseph is Terrence's teammate. Oh, my God. I don't know how he's this bad. Anyway, uh, 17% remaining. All right. I'm gonna call it there. But before I do, I saved this picture in my phone because it was amazing. I've seen it going around on Twitter even before this week started, but it came true. So I'm gonna show it to you right now. As you can see, that's just a picture Taylor took, but Michael has been photoshopped in as a waiter, and he has Smellvis's head on a platter. Like, a lot of people were saying like Michael's gonna serve her his head on a platter. I think Michael might have even said it himself. I'm not sure about that, but either way, he did it. He made it happen, and I think uh, I think the fact that he did this, like, I think Taylor's going to be so appreciative of it that she is absolutely going to ride this game out with him. She's going to go to the end with him. I do believe that Taylor and Michael and Brittany are all going to try to take each other to the end. All right, that's going to do it for me. As you can see, I have turned orange. By the way, this right here, that is not a bong. That's a souvenir cup from a place in New Orleans that my brother got and didn't bring with him when he moved out. Just so it's out there. That's not a bong. That's a cup. That's a bottle inside a cup. That's all. But yes, uh, that's all I got. Thank you, Scarlet Rain 88, for joining me. If you enjoyed this, like if you're watching this on YouTube, you can follow me at Nick Grimes YT on Twitter, and find my link to my Twitch channel there. And yeah, I think I'm gonna do another stream tomorrow. I haven't streamed anything gaming in a while, so I'm gonna do that tomorrow. Not sure what game yet, but I'll figure it out by tomorrow. But yeah, that'll do it for me. Thank you for joining. Peace out.